Alrighty, let's get right into it. Hello, hello. So today I want to talk about the difference between authors who struggle and authors who thrive with their marketing. Now, if you're listening to this, you might be thinking, I've created my book, I've published my book, it's online, it's available on Amazon, and basically I'm done. I'm good. And what I want to say to you is that actually is not even remotely the ending. It's actually not even the beginning. You are actually getting started on a journey that actually, quite frankly, should have started months before you even put the book out there. Many people believe that publishing the book on Amazon is the end of the road. But again, it really is the beginning. It really is the beginning of the whole process. Now, what I want to talk to you about today is the difference between an author and an authorpreneur. An author focuses on just creating the book. They're creating the manuscript. They're creating they designed the cover. They've done all the artwork. They've manufactured the book, and the book is available for sale. And for many, they believe that that is the road. That's the finishing point. Basically, I'm done at this point. But I'm going to go so far as to say that the real juice, the fun, the enlightenment, the engagement, everything that you're looking for, which is hence why many people created a book, really starts long before the book actually is available to purchase. In this case, let's say on Amazon. Because true entrepreneurs are about more than just the physicality of handing a document to someone, be it a physical book, digital book, whatever. They're thinking beyond that. What they're really thinking about, what they're really focusing on is the fact that what they really want to do, more than anything, what they really want to do is they have a mission, they have a movement, they have a reason why they created this product, in this case, a book. There's a reason why they did it. And there's a person that they did it for. Typically, unless it's an autobiography, typically we're not writing a book about ourselves. We're writing the book for someone, either to educate them or entertain them, inform them some kind of way. And that's where the real opportunity lies, is in the ability to be able to make literal contact with the people who you created this book for, no matter what the subject matter of the book really is. There was an audience that you had in mind when you created that book. So, with that said, I want to share this with you. The entrepreneur thinks of audience first. They think of audience first. They really want to understand who is the person that they're creating this for. And secondly, they want to know what problem. They're very clear about the problem that their book solves, even if the problem is something that you might construe of as esoteric. Like when we think of problems, we think of maybe a health problem or a financial problem or something along those lines, or a relationship problem. But for some people who will purchase our books, they just want to relax. They want to relieve stress. They want to they want to be more centered. They want to be more focused. They want to feel more empowered in their life. They're not trying to change anything from a trauma perspective, but more from I just want to center myself more, which is hence why planners and journals and those kinds of things sell so well, because those are books too. Now, with that said, where the opportunity for the entrepreneur lies is in providing an environment, a space, an ability to be able to support the purchasers of your book, even if it's a plan or journal that coincides with why they bought it, why they purchased it. And so if you can create an experience, the emphasis on the word experience, if you can create that experience for your reader and make that available as a value add to the book that they are purchasing from you. Not only is it making it a more full, well-rounded experience for your customer, but it also is helping you to engage even deeper on a much deeper level with the people that you created the book for. One of the things I did very early on in my publishing efforts is I always thought of what kind of an experience can I create around this book that I can monetize beyond book sales. Now, I'm going to be really transparent. A company that I use a lot for a lot of the planners and journals and things that I have made, because I have sold planners to my audience for as much as $97. And I'll tell you how I did that. I didn't sell a planner because many people think of a planner as a book with lines in it, maybe some worksheets, that kind of thing. And on average, if I asked you that question, well, what would you think I could sell that for? And you might say $15, $20, probably definitely under $100. But I'll tell you, I have sold planners for right at $100. And I'll tell you how I did that. I created an experience and I made the planner a part of the value add. I wasn't selling the planner solo by itself. I created some kind of an experience. It could be like what I called a virtual retreat. It could be 3 days, whatever the case may be. And when you purchase that retreat, you got my planner as a part of that experience. So the planners, from a cost perspective wise, were not inherently inexpensive. It wasn't like a few bucks. I wanted color, I wanted spiral bound, I wanted certain feature sets for my planner that, and quite frankly, Amazon couldn't do. And Lulu provided me with that. Now, the per unit cost for those planners were running in the range with shippings almost $20. So if I was going to sell those planners by themselves as solo items, I would have had to have sold them for at least $35 plus to have any kind of profit margin whatsoever on the planner. I definitely wasn't going to make less on the planner than the cost it was to produce it. So my immediate thought was, how can I create an experience around this? Hence why I created a virtual retreat to coincide with the planner itself. And that experience in its totality, I priced at 5 times what the planner would have cost me. In this context, it was $100. So now instead of me only generating maybe 10, 15, max $20, I was actually able to Forex that and make $80 profit on that. And what was great about it, because I use print on demand, what I was able to do was I was able to provide that product with that physical, tangible product along with that virtual experience that I could do from anywhere in the world. I was traveling at the time when I did this. And the planners, I was able to set up on the platform and sell directly, and ship those out to the customer, no matter where they were. I didn't have to actually have a physical copy in my hand because, again, I was traveling. So again, that's thinking from an entrepreneurial mindset. If I was just focusing on book sales, you see how that would have limited my ability, because I would have been trying to focus on just selling the book by itself. And this is something that I'm always encouraging my clients to do, is to think about what kind of an experience can I create that my books become a part of that experience. If it's virtual, even if it's in person, that's what they get to walk away with, the physicality of that product they get to walk away with. And that's where the real opportunity inherently lies for us as author creators, or authorpreneurs, is ability to be able to curate, and create experiences that exponentially enhance our customers' experience so that they in turn will then be better served And yes, be willing to invest more money than just single copy book sales. All righty. Now, one of the things that I want to share about this mindset of what I have come to realization is really an identity shift. Because many people who are creating a book seriously they don't really think beyond the creation and the publishing of the book. And what I want to share with you and what I would encourage you to do is as an authorpreneur, which is a workshop that I teach, I offer, and I'll show you how you can get access to the next one I do, is it's a mindset shift. You have to switch from focusing on what an author does is focusing on selling single copy books. Entrepreneurs focus on building ecosystems, meaning that they are creating ways to engage with that customer, whether they are a future or a current customer, into their own ecosystem, starting with one, a mailing list, email list. You have to have that. I have a client right now that has done extremely well in creating her content on YouTube. And just as of yesterday, her YouTube account is gone, where her Google account got hacked, and her Google account is gone. 16,000 followers following her, and now that's just gone. Now, maybe she's going to get it back. She's working on that right now, but it's gone. If you know anything about you paying attention to TikTok, you know TikTok is changing by the moment. That could go away at any moment. Yeah, I'm not trying to pick on any platform. I'm saying that with all of this, unless it is something that we control, we're building our business on rented land. And the number one thing that will safeguard you from that, at least give you the opportunity to rebuild, is by having an email list. Now, one of the first things that happened when my client's account got shut down, her YouTube account got shut down, was we have an email list, which was the first things that we did together in our work together. We set up an email list immediately. Now, as a result of that, we were able to send out an email alerting everyone that the account was temporarily, hopefully, prayerfully, temporarily gone, and that it may come back up again and we can alert them again. But if we didn't have that, we would have no way of really reaching back out to people. Now, does the number of followers that she had coincide with the numbers on the email list? No, but it was better than nothing. And so again, it just goes back to emphasize what I constantly say is that you've got to have your own database. You've got to have your own curated list of people that have raised their hand and said, yes, I want to hear from you. I'm currently right now writing my book called The Authorpreneur Decision. And I talked about at great length, because I'm actually talking the book out, not just writing it. One of the things I talked about today in one of the chapters in the book is what many people, again, believe, many authors believe, is that Amazon is the Holy Grail and that everything with book publishing and book selling, I should say, really, not so much book publishing, starts and stops with Amazon. And I use the analogy in that chapter because many people believe this, and I'm in several Facebook groups around specifically Amazon KDP. And I want to be really clear what I'm saying here. I'm not picking on Amazon at all. But I do want to put it in perspective. I do want to put it in perspective. So one of the things that I shared as I'm working out the manuscript for the book is I see in many Facebook groups around Amazon, in particular KDP, a lot of people will post and say how disappointed they are. They worked on their book, they put it up on Amazon, and they're only selling a few copies. And they're disappointed the fact that they're not getting more sales. And of course, that fires me up because the first thing I'm going to say is, well, how many people know about the book? Because again, Amazon's not the Holy Grail. It's only going to do what you feed it. It's an algorithm, just like all the other platforms out there that we use. So anyway, for many of the authors that I see in these groups, they will feel dejected. They will feel bad about themselves because the book isn't selling more, because they look at it like it's a magical fairy that's going to just sprinkle fairy dust on their book and it's going to just automatically start selling a bunch of copies. And the thing that I say, as I was working through the content for the book, I thought, you know what's even worse than the book not selling at all or very little? Is selling a whole lot of copies. Now, you might hear me say that and think, well, Rodney, why would you say that selling a whole bunch of copies of my book? Isn't that what every author wants? Yes, every author does want to sell a bunch of copies of their book. Every author wants that. But you know what you want even more than selling a bunch of copies of your book? You want the contact information of the people who bought your book. This circles back to what I've been saying about the email list, because this is the bottom line. If you sold, let's say in your wildest dreams, you sold 1,000 copies of your book in the last 30 days. Let's keep the numbers really simple. Let's say that your book is $15. And let's say, for an example, sorry about that. And let's say, for an example, that after you take out the cost to print and all of the fees attached to it, you're making about a $3 on average commission or royalty based on the book after print costs are taken out. Amazon basically pays you 60% of what the cover price of the book is, whatever you set the retail price for. They give you 60% of that minus the print costs if you use the Amazon KDP program. So for the purposes of keeping the math simple, it's probably more than that, but I'm going to keep the math simple. Let's say you keep $3 per unit after print costs. And let's say you had a fantastic month beyond your wildest dreams and you sold 1,000 copies of your book in 30 days. 3 times 1,000 is $3,000. And that, if I were to say that to you, you would go, wow, that's amazing. That's great. I'm over the moon. But but here's the rub. If you don't structure that manuscript in a way that you are literally pulling, inviting, encouraging, engaging the reader to come out of that book into your ecosystem, assuming that you didn't send them to Amazon to begin with via your ecosystem. Let's say they just found your book organically on Amazon and they bought it. If you don't have strategic invitations placed inside that manuscript, inviting them into your ecosystem, guess what? That's not your customer. Even though they bought your book and even though Amazon sent you a royalty payment, that's not your customer. It's Amazon's customer. Now I'm going to take this ecosystem subject, I'm going to break down even more so. Amazon will never share that information with you about who the buyer is. They will give you your money, but they will not tell you who bought that book. I always tell my clients and my students, the person who holds the credit card information and the contact information is whom the customer belongs. I'll say it again. The person who holds the credit card information and the contact information is whom the customer belongs. You may have made money as the author creator, but it's Amazon's customer. And they are not looking at that individual beyond, they're looking at that person beyond that single transaction, in this case of buying our books. They're looking at the LTV, lifetime customer value. Lifetime customer value. That's what they're looking at, meaning that they already hold that person's credit card information and contact information because they had to ship that product to them if they bought a physical copy of your book. Well, guess what? From Amazon's perspective, they now can sell all kinds of things in their entire website catalog to that person. So while they may have made a few bucks off of the book that you created and that they purchased, everything that person buys, including if they just maintain a Prime account at $15 a month. They're making $180 a year base. Are you making 180 from your book? And if you aren't, that's the question you should be asking yourself. Not only 180, but 10 times, 20 times, 30 times that amount of money. Amazon operates an ecosystem. Your book was one of the ways that they are monetizing their platform. What are you doing? How are you monetizing your platform? Do you have an ecosystem in place to monetize? So when someone purchases your book, let's say they find it on Amazon, they just go and buy it on their own. They didn't come through you directing them over there. If they're not invitations inside of that book, inviting them out of that book into your ecosystem, starting with your email list, which is the first place I would automatically send them without even thinking twice about it. Please don't send them to social media accounts because those could also be taken down too. Get them on your email list and then invite them into a deeper level with you. Maybe a school community could be an example of that. One of my clients, that's what she does. She has a school community that she gets paid for every month to offer. Now you get the opportunity to nurture them, to engage with them, to create better experiences for them, to find out what they want, what they need, what they're challenged with, so that you can then create things that could make opportunities to be courses, paid memberships, retreats, consulting, coaching, whatever you want to do, courses. You can provide those things and monetize beyond the single copy book sale. All righty. But you have to set that up. Now I'm going to go back to the $3 per unit cost, 1,000 books sold in the course of a 30-day period. That's $3,000. And let's say that I'm going to keep the numbers really bare bones here. If 1% of those 1,000 buyers that bought your book go into your ecosystem, that's 10 people. And if 10 people out of that 10, one bought a $3,000 offer that you created, even a $1,000 offer that you created. But let's say you had a $1,000 offer that you created and you sold three of those. You're making $3,000 right now. Oh, and I didn't mention this. Amazon can take up to 90 days to pay you out your royalty payment. So that $3,000 that you might have made in February, you might not see that money till May. But if you're bringing them into your ecosystem and they're purchasing something that you created, an experience that you curated and created, which is what I help my clients do, you now can put money in your pocket immediately, and you have the contact information and the credit card information of that customer. You bring them out of their world into your world. Now you're setting up infrastructure. Now you're setting up something that can pay you long after the single copy book sale. It's a mindset shift that we must adopt, because otherwise we're really working to make other people, and this is what artists do all the time. We create intellectual property that makes other people money, but we get sort of like the remnants of whatever's left over. And I think that's a shame and it's unnecessary when there's tons of opportunity out there for us, but it requires a shift in thinking. So what I was saying on my entrepreneur decision experience, we have to think differently. We must think differently. It's in our thinking differently that then the opportunities present themselves to us for us to create things that actually, dare I say, make it more fun and pleasurable for us to work with the people that are investing in our work and our IP. All righty. So again, we're not focusing on the book as the product. An authorpreneur doesn't focus on the book as a product. They look at it as it is a portal. And I love that. Think of it as a portal into your own ecosystem, into your own world, and how you are serving. at a deeper level, and yes, dare I say, higher monetized, quicker monetization opportunity. All right. So anyway, I want to just wrap it at that. I wanted to share that with you because I want you to start to, if it's right for you, I really want to encourage you to come and check out one of my Authorpreneur Decision Experience workshops that I do. I deep dive into this and so much more. There are like 10 ideas, 10 principles that I have that help authors start to think differently so that they can then shift the identity into I've just written a book to I am the preneur, the authorpreneur behind this message. It's bigger than the book. It's bigger than this thing that we're selling, this piece of paper that we're holding in our hands or our customers are holding in their hands. And when you think differently, you can start thinking more creatively. And it's in that creativity that you can then create the experiences that you can monetize for way more than the small pittance of a royalty payment that you were getting from the books that you were trying to sell on the platform that many people believe is the Holy Grail. All righty. So I just wanted to wrap it up with that. If there's any questions that you have about anything that I've talked about, I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. And keep in mind, I'm going to be doing more of these. I'm enjoying these live stream opportunities. I think it's a great way for me to connect with the people who are following me in this context on YouTube. And I want to be able to help more authors like yourself get more out of the hard work that you're doing to develop what you're creating. I love what I do. I love working with author creators who are, we don't do this because we're bored. We do this because there's a message that we have in our heart. There's a reason behind why we do what we do. And to make it a deep, full circle moment, we've got to connect with the people who are buying, who are investing in our work. I'm not against making income passively, having, I'm not against that. But I'm saying even being in community with the people who are investing in your work, even thinking at it from that perspective, think about how much more richer, how much better you can make your product if you are building it in community, if you're talking to the people who are buying, talking with them. Social media is great, but that's talking at people. Again, cornerstone of an ecosystem is how am I engaging back and forth with the people who are investing in my work? And that can be via your email list. That can be via a community of some sort. It can be a Facebook group. It can be a school community. It doesn't really matter. But as long as there's a two-way conversation happening, it helps you to make your work even better. It helps you to design your offers even better because you really understand under the hood what your readers are struggling with, what problems that you are indeed solving. All righty. So again, I'm going to pop the link in the description here if you want to join me for my next Authorpreneur Decision Experience. And I know it will shift the way you think. If you enjoyed what you heard today, this will help you shift the way you think. There are authors out here, authorpreneurs out here who are doing some really creative and inventive ways to do exactly what I'm talking about. And I want to introduce those to you so that in hopes it will inspire you. It will inspire you to do the same, to follow in the same pursuit. And think outside the box, think more creatively. Because that's everything. I mean, we are creators. At the end of the day, my podcast is called The Published Creator. We're creators. So let's create. Let's think differently and let's create from that posture. And when we do that, we really make a difference. We make a difference in the lives of the people we're here to serve. We make a difference in our lives. So with that said, I look forward to seeing you on the next live stream, connecting with me. And please share this. And also, I would love it if you would subscribe to the channel. I want to get this into more entrepreneurs' eyes and ears. And it would help a lot if you would subscribe, and feel free to share the video and leave a comment for me. If you have any thoughts or comments that you like, I would love to hear them. And if I can support you further, let me know that as well. And I'll be more than happy to do what I can to help you become the entrepreneur that you already are. You just have to shift your mindset a little bit and start thinking differently so that you can implement the things that we're talking about so that you can be the success that I already know that you are, and have it happen based on your creativity. All righty. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I'll see you on the next episode, the next live stream that I do.